Alright guys, welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is Ali Plays. And as promised, today we're going to be doing the part 2 of the Legendary Championship you should definitely book. So yeah, there was more there. Obviously there's going to be even more than this. So I'm not saying there's going to be a part 3, but if you guys want to see a part 3, I can do that for you guys. Let me know down in the comment section. And I'll try to be doing more epic ones as well. So the first champion, this is not top 10, so this is just 10. The first champion is going to be Dragomorph. So the reason this guy was not on my list, the first video, is because of the whole Draco drama. So now that that is settled down, I decided to give him the recognition he deserves. So Dragomorph has an amazing kit. He's helpful actually anywhere in the game. And he only needs, well, I can't say he needs 10 books to max out. But his basic attack can arguably be skipped, since it just increases damage, but it's always nice to have. His A2 actually definitely needs to be booked. So he attacks 4 times at random. Each hit places a 5% poison debuff for 3 turns. That is actually amazing. It's a 4-turn cooldown, but when you book it out, it's going to be a 3-turn cooldown, and the damage increase is pretty big. 10, and 15%. So his A3 ability is actually one of the best in the game for placing weaken and decreased defense. So this actually allows you to nuke the enemy, and it's also good for clan boss. So you will actually need this ability maxed out to get to a 3-turn cooldown. And overall, I would say Dragomorph, if you have Dragomorph, consider yourself lucky, and don't be afraid to use your books on him. Next up is Rosin. So we are still talking about the Lizardman faction. So we're going to talk about the free-to-play fusion, Rosin. So every single ability that Rosin has needs to be booked. He gets massive boosts in every single level. So let's take a look at his skills. So his A1 is a triple hit, and he has a 20% chance of removing a random buff from the target. So that 20% is very, very low. If you can see the upgrades, it's 10% more damage, 15% more damage. So he is pretty beast when you upgrade him. And then you also get you get a higher chance of removing the random buff from the target. So it's going to be a 45% chance. That's actually a big boost, more than 50% more chance of stealing that buff from a target. So he definitely needs it. His A2 ability, Sheer, also places decreased defense and weaken. So it is very good, but it's only a single target. So the thing about this is it already has a higher chance, 75% chance to place it. But you can get that up to 100%, which is very good. And also the damage increase is crazy, and then there's a cooldown at the end. So if there wasn't a cooldown at the end, I wouldn't actually recommend booking him on his A2, but since there is, I would recommend it. So it's going to be a 3-turn cooldown, which is very big. His A3 ability is pretty good. You can get that 7-turn cooldown to 6, and the damage increase is very nice to have, and it's a very good ability, decrease the turn meter by 100%. So if you get Rosin, when you get Rosin, make sure you guys fully book him, unless you have other champions that you want to book. So still on the Lizardman faction, we're going to talk about Kris the Ageless. So this guy is one of my favorite legendaries from the Void Pool. So if you even have Kris, consider yourself extremely lucky. He is one of my favorite voids, Legos, as I said, and he's a great turtle. So he's very expensive to build in terms of books. He needs a whopping 14 skill books to max out. So let's take a look at his skills. So he has an AoE attack on his A1 that places decreased speed. It's only a 30% chance. You can actually increase that chance up to 50%, which is a much bigger boost. His A2 ability is an AoE that places ally protection and continuous heal. The cool thing about this is you can actually decrease the cooldown of it. So it's going to be a 3-turn cooldown. And the damage increase from level 4 and 5 are pretty big. His A3 ability places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. It places increased defense and places increased speed on all allies. This guy's crazy, man. And it's a 5-turn cooldown, so you definitely want to decrease that to 3 turns. So if you have this guy, make sure you guys book him. Look at his passive ability, also needs books. At the start of each round, he places a shield buff on allies for 2 turns equal to 50% of his max HP. So what he does to book it, he has a 75% chance of placing a decreased defense and decreased attack on the attacker for 1 turn. So this is already a high percentage chance. If you want to, you can actually get away with not booking his passive, but getting it to 100% chance is obviously better. So yeah, if you have Kris the Ageless, why are you holding onto your skill books, man? Definitely book him. So the bearded one, Longbeard, he is one of the best swarmers in the game. So he's capable of doing a mass assist on his A3 ability, and he's actually known for that ability. So it's actually a 5-turn cooldown, but you definitely want to book that so you can get it down to a 4-turn cooldown. So he only needs 1 book for that. And let's look at his A1, so he ignores shield and block damage buffs. That is actually pretty good. And you can argue that he doesn't need that, but he is an attack champion. So the more attack that he gets, the more beneficial he is for your team, especially for arena. For clan boss, you don't really need this to be booked. You just need this ability to be booked, but it depends where you're using him. His A2 ability, he places a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. So the reason why you need this booked, you don't need this booked, it's a 3-turn cooldown, but it's nice to have a 2-turn cooldown weaken. But his biggest ability is right here, Horse Fury. So you can actually ignore both of these if you want. If you're only going to use it for clan boss and just get this cooldown -1, which is 1 book, as opposed to maxing him out and using 8 books. So yeah, let's move on. Alright, so now we got Dragomorph Blood Twin. This guy actually needs 11 books. Let's take a look at his skills. He's got a triple hit. He has a 30% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. And he heals by 20% of the damage inflicted. So if the target's under HP burn. So actually increasing his damage is beneficial to him because he's able to recover more health. It's not going to be a huge chunk, but it's still going to be better than nothing. His A2 ability is an AoE that has a 40% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. You can actually increase that 40% chance of placing the provoke into a 60%, which is actually very beneficial for arena as well as dungeons for clearing waves. And you can also decrease the cooldown of the ability to 4 turns instead of 5. So that is very good. And his passive ability, he has a 55% chance of placing an HP burn debuff when he's hit. You can actually increase that up to a 75% chance. So that is actually a pretty big boost. So yeah, if you have Dragomorph, you have nowhere else to work on, definitely book Dragomorph Blood Twin. Alright, we have the man of the hour, Rotos, the Lost Groom. So I actually did do a guide on Rotos. You guys can go look at it. He's actually very amazing, and he needs all the damage he can get. So even though he's only getting 5% boost on his A1, I would still recommend booking it because this guy snowballs. So it's best to make him do as much damage as he can. Yeah, that's it. This ability is just damage increase if you book it. His A2 ability is very good. He's got a 10% boost per level. So 10, 20, 30%. And then his cooldown -1. So that's going to be a 2-turn cooldown. So this is almost 100% uptime. And this ability is very, very powerful. And also increases his HP, which allows him to do more damage because he's damaged based on attack and HP. So that's where the snowball comes in. And his A3 ability is his strongest ability in terms of damage. In my opinion, I've seen this ability do more damage, but this is my favorite ability. So you need this to do as much damage as you can because it ignores 75% target's defense. The cool thing about it is you can one-shot Skull Crowns, you can one-shot Torment, and you can one-shot anybody that has block damage. And then he gets an extra turn if he kills an enemy, so that actually allows him to snowball because he can decrease the cooldown of this ability and then use it again. And yeah, and you can also decrease the cooldown of this ability to 3 turns. And there's big damage boosts per level. Luckily, his passive does not need any books. So yeah, definitely book Rotos 100% all the way. Don't even look back, man. Alright, so now we're on Battle Khazar, one of the champions I really want. I never had. He's very good, obviously. He can be used anywhere in the game. He has an AoE that heals himself and all allies by 20% of the damage inflicted. That's on his A1. Booking this ability will make the heals higher, make the heals bigger, and then plus the damage. So he's going to have huge heals on this ability if you book it. A lot of people say you don't need to book it, but I would actually go for it. The most important ability to book is this ability right here. Removes all debuffs from all allies and places a 15% continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns. And then he also places 5% poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. So it's a 5-turn cooldown initially, but you can get it down to 3. So if you want, you can just use 2 books if you're lucky, and they roll onto this. You can save yourself the rest of the books. You can save yourself 5 books. But for me, if I had Battle Khazar, I would actually go fully book Battle Khazar. Definitely worth it. So we're at number 8 now. So number 8 we have Nethril. So Nethril is actually a beast. I think he is underrated. He's got poisons on his A1, which is a triple hit. And he has a 30% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff. So definitely you want to book this. It only costs 3 books to get this 30% up to a 50%. Definitely worth it. Ghastly Horrors is an AoE that places stun. This is actually good for Spider as well, because he automatically has stun built into his kit. And it's a 50% chance. And you can actually increase that chance to a 75% chance. That is actually pretty huge for Spiders then. And then also cooldown -1, so it's going to be a 4-turn cooldown. And then his last ability is an AoE that decreases the turn meter by 75%. That is pretty boss, and that can be a 4-turn cooldown as well. So yeah, he is definitely worth booking, and let's move on. So since we're here, we're going to be talking about the Siphi, the Lost Bride. So arguably you can get away with not booking this ability. The thing is, it's all RNG. If you can get away with not booking this ability, I would recommend not booking it. But the rest of her kit needs books. She can fill that terminal of allies by 15% and places block debuffs, increase defense, increase speed. That's crazy, man. What else does she do? So that's a 5-turn cooldown. You can actually get down to 3 turns, which is pretty crazy. And also her A3 ability, Love Beyond Death. She has revive on it, and you can get that revive down to 4 turns. Which also gets them full turn meter and places the increased attack and increased crit rate, which is pretty amazing. And the last ability heals each ally by 15% of their max HP. You can argue that this ability does not need to be booked because you can make that to a 50% chance. So overall, if you get the proper rolls, you only need 4 books on Siphi if you can able to max out Whirlwind Romance and Love Beyond Death. But for me, I would actually book out these 3. And if I can, I would stay away from her Curse of Longing. But again, it's all RNG, unfortunately. So the last champion we're going to be talking about in this video is going to be Ray. So I only got Ray because there was a tournament going on and I was first place in my bracket. So that's how I got her. But I booked her out, fully booked out because of her abilities. You can see she needs to be fully booked. She does more damage. She needs all the damage she can get. She's an attack type champion. And you need that debuff chance increase. So it's a 30% chance to place decreased defense on all enemies, which is pretty crazy. But you can get that out to 50%, so it definitely needs it. A2 ability is an AoE that flicks 50% more damage against targets under debuffs. And if this ability doesn't have the 10 and 15%, I wouldn't book it. But since it does, that's the reason why I did. And her A3 ability definitely needs to be booked. It's a 50% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn on enemies. So you can get that up to 70%, which is pretty big. And also get that cooldown to 6 turns instead of 7 turns. 7 turns is way too long. Even 6 turns are arguably too long, but this ability is very powerful. It removes all buffs and has a 70% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn on all enemies. So it is pretty powerful. So yeah, if you got Ray, definitely book her. Very good champion. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys want to see a part 3, let me know down in the comment section. I actually want to do more epic versions of these lists and maybe even rares as well. So if you guys found this video helpful and entertaining in any way, make sure you guys drop a like. And if you guys are new to the channel and like to see, then consider subscribing. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.
I'm Tyrone. I need everybody to subscribe to the homie Ali Al Plays. And that's non-negotiable either.